Hi guys, welcome back to TomTalks. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And today we've got another movie review for you, but we are talking about the new Indiana Jones film, The Dial of Destiny, the fifth and supposed final Indiana Jones film. Surely Harrison Ford can't do another one. And please don't replace him with someone or just CGI him onto some other actor because it won't be the same, guys. So please don't do that, is what I'll start this review with. This film was decent. You know, I was a bit skeptical going into the film. I thought the trailer was decent, but I was a bit skeptical. After all, Harrison Ford is an octogenarian now. And I was like, how much is he going to be able to do? Because, to be honest, in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which came out 15 years ago, which is kind of bad, he was still getting around a bit. He was in his 60s then, I think. But he's an octogenarian now, and I was kind of skeptical. But this film, it holds up. It holds up fairly well. I'd say that it feels like it lacked a bit of the fun. It does have a fun factor to it, but you do get the feeling that Indiana Jones sort of is kind of like, oh God, like, I guess I've got to do this because the fate of the world's at stake and all that. I won't go into too much spoilers. The film sets things up in the past, and then the rest of the plot is in like the 1960s, 1970s. They don't make it actively clear what decade it is, but from a bit at the start, it's either like 1969 or 1970. So 60/70s. Harrison Ford is pretty good in this. Again, he does kind of see, oh, but he's still got the indie mannerisms. He still feels like he enjoys playing the part. He is old man, and this is an Indiana Jones who has been taken out a bit to an extent because he's had things in his life that have left him a shell of a man. He's retiring from his job. He's like he has nothing left to live for. And then Phoebe Waller-Bridge comes into his life, who plays his goddaughter. And I think she's cool. I think she does a good job here. I've not seen Phoebe Waller-Bridge in too many things. Like, I watched this film with my mum, who's seen her in, like, Fleabag and stuff like that. I remember her as the voice of the robot that becomes the voice of the Millennium Falcon in not Rogue One, in Solo. Oh, she's good here. She's fun. She has an interesting dynamic where initially it seems like she was just in this all for the money, and her back and forths with Indiana Jones is quite interesting. She's sort of like a daughter-like figure to him in that respect. She's good. I think she's an enjoyable character in this. If you don't like Phoebe Waller-Bridge, you might not like her, but like, well, I don't imagine you'll be watching this film if you don't like Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She is one of the main characters. Mads Mikkelsen as the villain, he's pretty good. Mads Mikkelsen is a good actor. He's not as like good as he was in Casino Royale, but he's pretty good. He's an enjoyable villain. He's sort of straight to the point, cutthroat, and well, yeah, he's a Nazi. Like he plays a decent Nazi. I do find it a bit odd though, because it feels like the villains that Indiana and the crew go to, the villains are always there like a minute later. I do find that a bit weird. It's a bit like, but then maybe the drivenness and the desire of the villain to get his goal. We also get a new kid character who he's decent. I mean, the acting's pretty good, you know, but there's nothing about him that truly stands out, and he's obviously not on the level of someone like Short Round, who has committed timing and excitement and energy. Like, this kid is decent, and I feel like he is kind of pivotal to the plot, but I would have liked to have seen a bit more from this kid, to be honest. His only sort of character arc is, I can't swim, and now I can swim. But yeah, who else? We've got a few cameos from the past here, and The one character who comes in during the start and then again at the end, I think he's done well. It's like a nice cameo, and like, oh, it's them, that's nice, and they're not. It's not overdone. And then the cameo at the end, I'll get into a bit further on in the review. Toby Jones, I think he's used pretty well here. I was a bit worried that his character was going to become another Ox, John Hurt's character from the last film, but he's not that. Which it's weird because I remember seeing like some of the footage from the making of the film, and I was like, "Oh, Toby Jones is going to be in this for a bit," and he is, but he's not. It's you just watch the film, you'll understand what I mean. No, he's decent in this. It's Toby Jones. He's pretty good. I think his character is interesting. I'm glad though they didn't include him in too much of the film because it would have just felt like a rehash of John Hurt's character personally. In terms of the plot, I think the plot is pretty good. It has, again, like I said, some similarities with an aspect of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It does feel fairly fresh because that Indiana Jones was still active. This Indiana Jones is like, yeah, I don't want to be doing this anymore. I'm just in this situation because... And throughout the film, he is constantly like, oh my God, like, I can't do this anymore. I feel like it is sort of a fitting closer. It does have the fun aspects. The chase sequences are decent. I think the fight sequences, they're pretty good, Harrison Ford isn't doing too much of the fighting, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge holds her own, as does the henchman of Mads Mikkelsen's character. I feel like they were building up to something and then maybe either changed it last minute or did it as a haha, gotcha. So I feel throughout the film, there is characters who Indy has some sort of relationship with who get removed from the film, and he talks about characters in his life who are removed from the film, and it feels like they're building up to either something happening to him or him settling down somewhere. And when we get to like near the end, I feel like they set it up nicely. Like, okay, we're here. I'm not in a great place at this moment in time. I'm just gonna stay here. I've just met this really cool person who I'm not gonna spoil. This is where I want to be. This is what I've been looking into my whole life. I just want to be here. And then that gets kind of taken away from us, and we get the ending we do. And the some of the kissing bits was a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie, that bit was a bit like, ooh, I don't really want to be watching this. But I feel like they set up that, and I think if the ending had sort of gone that way, I think I would have enjoyed this movie a bit more, but it feels a bit too much like not a perfect ending, but hey, everyone's happy kind of ending. And I'm also glad that with a certain aspect of the film, they didn't try to do anything where Indiana Jones like fixes things. You'll see when you watch the film, but I'm glad they didn't do that. The aspect of that in itself is a bit out there, but it's not too out there that it feels ridiculous, because like Indiana Jones has had some sort of weird and oddity stuff. Like he says in the film, there's just some things you can't explain, but it doesn't go too off the ball with it, if you know what I mean. But I feel like the ending could have been done a bit better, personally. My overall thoughts on this, I think it's an enjoyable film. I think if you're an Indiana Jones fan, you'll get some enjoyment from it. I think the cast of characters are pretty good. The acting's pretty good. It's obviously not up to scratch with the originals. Enjoy Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I get enjoyment from it. I have fun with that film. It is a bit ridiculous and over the top, but with this one, some will say, should it have been made? And I think that argument is fair. But I think it's a nice close to the Indiana Jones story and this chapter of Harrison Ford's career. I think it was done better than in Well, to be honest, in Star Wars, I mean, Force Awakens, I think that was good. But then they brought him back in Rise of Skywalker, and that was weird. that was fan servicey as hell, and not good fan service either. I feel like they should retire the character now. Personally, I think that would be the right thing to do. If they want to do like a young Indiana Jones series again, that's fine. Bringing the character back in a film, I don't think it needs to be done. And also looking at the box office takings for this film, I think that won't be something they'll necessarily be looking at anytime soon, to be honest. But yeah, no, I enjoyed this film overall. It's not an amazing film. Is it the weakest in the series? I think potentially, yeah. But I think it has enough to engage you. It's enjoyable. It has its sweet moments. It has its dark moments. I think if the ending had stuck the landing, this would be something I'd recommend, like, for everyone to go out there and see. But because of the ending, I'd give it a 6 out of 10, personally. It's an enjoyable film. It's not something I'm going to go out of my way to see anytime soon, but it's fun. And hey, maybe on a rewatch I'll appreciate it a bit more. I don't know. But I thought it was a decent film. And if you're an Indiana Jones fan, I think you'll get something from it. I think if you like sort of adventure films, you'll enjoy it. But it's an enjoyable but flawed end to the Indiana Jones series. And it's kind of sad to see Indiana Jones is gone now, but, you know, Harrison Ford has been a great actor. He's done some great things in Star Wars, Indiana Jones. He's been in lots of other things as well. This feels like the ending, to be honest. And while this may not have been necessary, I'm fine with it existing. I enjoyed it. I will watch it again at some point. But that's my thoughts on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What are the things that define the film for you? Let me know. And until next time, folks, this has been another TomTalks.